Welcome back, chat room. And today, I have a simple question for you. Will we finish below or above estimate? It's a simple question, chat room. We're coming back with some more awesome speedruns of PS2 games I have never heard of, and I am very excited to hear of. So take it away once again.
Hello. Yep, I'm Gala, and I'm going to be showing off the Zombie Zone or Oni-Chanbara speedrun. And we're going to be doing New Game Plus HUD. We had a little poll of what bikini to wear. And that's because for New Game Plus, we have some costume options that we can do. This is the green bikini, the blue bikini, and the black bikini. And the black bikini won, so we're going to be wearing this costume. Cool. Okay. So the time will start when I press this costume, which will be in 3, 2, 1, go. Cool. So yeah, welcome to Zombie Zone. Zombie Zone is the English name for the Oni-Chanbara game. This is the first game that came out. Oni-Chanbara actually went off to make a lot of games in the series. It became like a whole series. And this was a part of the Simple 2000s Japanese games that had low budget, so never underestimate a low budget and where it can take you with developing names and indie games and stuff like that. Yeah. So the whole premise of this game is that you're playing as this zombie cowgirl. So she's a cowgirl samurai sword-wielding zombie slayer. That's a lot of things you wouldn't expect altogether, but that's what we're doing in this game. And for New Game Plus, we have full strength and full speed, and we also have full health, so she's a bit stronger for these first levels, but because we're playing on hard, the later levels in the game will still be pretty challenging at times. But it's nice to get to wear a costume for the place.
This already sounds like something that I doodled in my notebook a while back as a child, and I'm just so here for it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Oni-Chanbara, which is the Japanese name, I think it literally translates to sword fighting sister or something along those lines. And there were several games after this that got released. There was another game on PS2, and there was also one for Xbox 360, and there was also a remake of this first game that got released on PC and a lot of other platforms. So yeah, it's very cool that it ended up like with small beginning, but ended up actually getting pretty big. Not like super massive, but it's still like, it's like, it got kicked off, so that's really cool. Never underestimate your endeavors. So for the objective of this area, you gotta kill all the enemies first, and then you get access to a key so that we can go to other areas. Now the enemies, when you kill them, they drop little yellow orbs or red orbs. The red orbs in particular for New Game Plus are going to be really important, but I don't want to walk too far with them. So at the bottom left hand side of the screen, there's the health bar, which is like the green, yellow, red bar. And then above that there is another kind of squiggly bar that fills up with red the more that you defeat enemies. This is going to be really important because for the speedrun in particular, because when that bar fills up, she will go into what is known as Berserk mode. Berserk mode, she gains a lot more attack power, a lot more range, and a lot more speed, and she just becomes overall a lot more powerful for the speedrun. So I really do want that to fill up as much as possible for the run. It can be a bit random though, because it fills up faster when enemies drop more of the little red orbs. Sometimes I don't always drop them, so it can be a bit sad, but we try our best. So we picked up a key, which now lets us go into this section. And we have to go to the end of here, for there are some enemies that we need to defeat to get the next key. Thankfully we don't have to defeat all the enemies in this area because there's a lot of them. We just have to defeat some of these ones, and then there's going to be a next wave that spawns in that will have a key. There's some reds dropping, which is very good. Also, another mechanic in the game is the sword on the left-hand side of the screen. As you progressively defeat enemies, that sword will fill up with red. Now, unlike the other bar that fills up with red, we don't want that one filling up completely, because it's kind of a meter for how much blood is on the protagonist's sword. And if too much blood is on the sword, she will get her sword stuck in enemies, and I'm also pretty sure that she does less damage as well, so we want that sword as clean as possible. And the way that we do that is there's a mechanic of cleaning the sword or brushing the blood off the sword. There are two animations for it. One of them you can do at the end of a combo, which is a lot faster animation, but it doesn't shred too much blood. And then there's another animation which is a lot longer that can clean the whole blade. We're gonna try and do mostly the shorter animation because it's faster. But if we get in a pickle where we have so much blood, we'll have to use the longer animation. So now we're going towards the first boss of the game. It's gonna be back where we started. It loops you around a bit in some of the missions. It can be a bit confusing on the first playthrough of where to go, because it doesn't quite tell you where to go, it just gives you the names of things. So we use the key to the arena, which is behind this big door. This is our first boss. What we're going to do is use a power gem. We're going to wait for him to attack. Now, one thing that's really important in combat is timing your attacks. So there is this wind effect that happens when you time your attacks in certain ways, and she does more damage that way by comparison to if you're just mashing the button. Now that's the end of stage 1. We don't want to save. Now we go to stage 2, which is the Forbidden Ward. So this is kind of like a hospital setting. There's a lot of zombies that are like in nurse costumes. And we have to go into this door here. Sometimes the enemies can block your way going through, which is a bit annoying at times, especially if you're trying to do like really tight lines and stuff with moving. Like the enemies will just be there in your way and block you, which is not very nice. Now there's gonna be one of the nurses here that drops the key item. Wanna make sure I pick up the reds if they drop any reds. There we go, gotta pick them up. There's the key item. There are these items that drop as well, like little crystals. Now for New Game Plus with, this bikini on, you actually have full items. You have full green gems, blue gems, red gems. So picking up items for New Game Plus isn't that much of a hassle, or that much that you need to concentrate too much on. You do a little bit end game because you use some of the items along the way. But for New Game, not New Game Plus, keeping account of your items is super important. To like be collecting them, and random drops as well is a bit of a bit of randomness along the run, because you don't always get the drops that you would like. So you gotta really know where you can pick things up. Traveling around, you have to do this. This is a bit of a walk. So you can always kind of tell which enemies are key enemies to defeat because they're on fire majority of the time. Especially in this room, the ones that you want to defeat are on fire. Yep. There's a key item and then we just make our way out.
As you make your way out, you mind if I do a quick little read here?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Absolutely. I must inform you all that it is in fact your last chance, one of the last chances you'll have to grab one of these awesome Polka mouse pads. You can use code Gaming or FTLG for 15% off at checkout. You can help support the marathon while you're getting a cool mouse pad. And if you donate, you'll be entered into a giveaway to get one of these things for absolutely free. So make sure you get those donations in. Make sure that you are supporting the marathon, donating, all that good stuff.
Oh, Siri, thanks for that. So this room, there's a lot of nurses, and the requirement is you have to defeat a certain amount of them before the key holding enemy spawns in. Now this is Berserk mode. So she has this really strong red aura around her. She's going to be doing a lot more damage, and she's also going to be gradually losing health. But for New Game Plus, it's not that scary. She'll be. She also runs faster with this activated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use. I'm going to be using a rapid gem. Because she actually runs super fast with the rapid gem active, and this rapid gem gives you more movement speed, and because in Berserk mode she's also faster too, it all stacks together to make her zoom around really fast. Only problem is enemies getting in there. Now we have two rooms we have to do. We have one on the left and then one on the right. And then we can finally see the boss of this mission. Blood on my sword is getting a bit high, so I have to make sure that I don't forget to clean my blade. The little yellow dots that spawn out the enemies, when you go in plus, they're not that important because you actually use those for levels. For New Game, they're super important because you won all the levels, but for New Game Plus, we already have them, so yeah, we don't have to focus. We just focus on the red ones. We have a second room to do. Now we can go burst the boss with Berserk active. She can just touch them and they die. Yep, we get the operating room post. Now we're going into that room. And the room is this big tutorial. Now the boss of this boss is actually really agile, but because we are very strong, we're gonna be completely slicing him up. With Berserk Power Gem, he gets shredded really fast. He is super scary casually though, because he's super fast in his movement and his attacks as well. But thankfully we are very powerful, we can just deal with him. save. Instead, we want to go to the next one, which is the second part of the Forbidden Ward. We're going to straight in here for our first. We get introduced to a new enemy type, which are these very tall. I once heard of another runner called them Mudmen, so I'm just going to refer to them as Mudmen. And they cannot be killed unless you are slicing them in Berserk mode, which gives a bit of a difficulty to them because it means that you need to build up that meter before you are able to leave the fight, or progress onward, because they typically drop key items, and they will for this fight in particular. So we have to focus on the humans, because they also, they won't take damage or anything. We want to defeat they're not humans, but the human zombies. We want to defeat them first, to hopefully build up our meter. Hopefully they drop reds. If they drop reds, that's very good. Because that fills up the meter a lot faster. Sometimes you can do this really fast if the humans have the zombies. You can defeat them. I don't like that. Oh, there's one there. Now what we're going to do is something very special. This is called an EI strike, and it completely wipes out all the enemies in the room with Berserk mode active. You can also do it when Berserk mode isn't active, but when you're in this mode, you can completely slice all the enemies in the room, and it's super powerful. It consumes a portion of your health to do so, but it's worth it. It's very powerful. So that's very useful to use on this video. Gonna be some enemies here, but the only required ones are the Mudmen in the middle, and because we still have Berserk mode active, we can just slice them, hit the key, and then get out. Because typically, casually, you wouldn't really know that like the next fight would require it, so you usually would cleanse the Berserk mode because there's an item to do that in the game, and then go into that fight and then build it up again. But with speedrunning, you want to hold on to this mode for as long as possible, as soon as you get it, because you do more damage, you run a bit faster, and yeah, it really makes fights a lot faster. It's a very helpful tool. Go up here, and there's gonna be a door with a yellow sign, and that's the room that I need to go into. It's gonna be on the left. There it is. And there's only, the Mudmen in the middle that we need to defeat. So we just slice them, and that's it. Makes it very fast to carry Berserk to all the different fights that are required because you need it. So just holding on to it is a lot faster than, like, getting rid of it and then getting it back. We're going to this way. Similar thing, we're going to be using the special slice. Clears out all the enemies in the room. We collect the key item and we can leave. Doing this is a lot harder on New Game because the health that gets consumed from doing that is a lot more. So healing items on the New Game run are a lot more important. Because, oh, I didn't even go into that door. That was a mistake. Sometimes that happens because you get pushed into doors, or if you're walking a little bit too close to them, it thinks, oh, you want to go in the door? But I didn't do that. Also have to be careful with the nurses trying to shoot knives at you. That can be really mean. My health is a little bit low, so I probably should use a heal soon. But I might save that for when we get to the boss. It's gonna be next. A lot of girls around. We have to go left. So this next boss fight is actually going to be 2 enemies. The boss that we saw from the previous mission is back, but he brought his big sister. He was just like, "This lady's picking on me, big sis." And she's like, "Don't you worry, we're going to fight it together." So they're together now. I'm going to be using a heal, and I'm also going to be using a power jewel. Oh, not power jewel, a jewel necklace. Now, jewel necklace, what it does is when you have Berserk active, it allows you to not take damage, which is rather interesting, but it's also very useful for this fight, because what you can do is you can have both of the enemies together and you can slice them at the same time. It's like very Now on to the next mission, which is the Insane Fencer, which is the boss, the name of the boss of that mission, this mission. Now we're starting in this area again, which was the same area for the first chapter, except it's raining and we have some new enemy types. So there are these policemen. These policemen, some of them have pistols and some of them are gonna have shotguns. The ones with shotguns are really scary. Well, they are very scary for the New Game Run, and they are pretty scary for New Game Plus as well, because we're on the hard difficulty, they still do a lot of damage. So you gotta look out for them. Gotta watch out for them. Having a good ear open for the sound of them getting their gun ready is important. And for this, for this area, the mission is, or the objective is to defeat their enemies, defeat them, and compared to when we first were in this area, like when we're defeating enemies now, the enemies are a bit tougher, so we can't just two-slice them, we actually have to hit them quite a few times. And now retrieving items is a little bit more important. We had to use the sound make sure that I keep moving the blade, don't want that to be controlled up. There's a lot of enemy management in that, like, trying to hit multiple enemies at once is really good. It's very good if they all come together. Now we're going to be traveling back towards where the first boss was. Again, there's a lot of guys with shotguns, particularly down this area. The guys with pistols are not that scary, but the guys with shotguns are, because the shotgun has such a wide range that, it really can get you. Typically, you just kind of hope that they don't hit you with something. We almost have Berserk, which is really good. Our meter is almost full. It'll be very good for lights coming up. If we had it at this point, we could do a big slice, but we can. Yeah, she also has a dodge that she can use. Sometimes I might use that if I can't figure out a way. Lag is starting to happen. Sometimes this happens when there's a lot of enemies around. Okay, now we have it. I'm going to use the slice. down here. This is the room where the first boss fight was. There's gonna be some mobs and they're mudmen. So having Berserk already active is gonna be very useful. Use a T-Slice just to get rid of them. And then when these guys spawn in, I'm going to release the beads. You gotta be really careful with that slash though, because it fills your blade with a lot of blood. That was really fast. Now we have quite a bit of a run to do. So because there's a lot of movement here, I'm going to go into my menu. I'm going to use a rapid gem and we're going to use quite a bit of a run to do. The mudmen mobs that we need to feed. There's always like one singular one, and then more spawn in. Wait for more to spawn in. Oh, my health is getting very dangerous below us. Let's make sure that health up. Probably should have waited for more than this spawn in. My bill is not very good at it. Okay, just do it here. I think, yeah, I should have done it there. I thought they would have all spawned together, but there was one singular one that spawned, and then there was the other one that spawned. That's okay. I'm taking a detour to the side here because there is a speed gem. I want to make sure that I pick that up. It's a very good resource to know, and I'm going to use it. Now we have another running section that we want to do really fast. We jump down here, and then we go through the door. To the right. Which we haven't been able to access at all until now. But now we can because we have the construction site key. Which is interesting, it's called construction site key because this isn't a construction site. I think they had plans on it to be a bit different, but they ended up making it like this. It's just kind of a pathway to a cemetery. So I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe they finished constructing. It's still a construction site. It's just like, they're done.
Good idea. Remember they did finish. So this is the boss. His name is the Insane Fencer. And, well, he does truly live up to that name. When he gets to half health, he becomes really fast and really aggressive. But thankfully, with the damage output that we can currently do, we didn't get to see that. Sometimes you can get to see it, and he's just very, yeah, he is so fast. He zips around everywhere and just attacks at lightning speed, so he can be really hard. But getting him killed the earliest you can, yeah, is really, really important. Now we're at the underground temple. So this is the second last mission, which is stage 5. Did introduce some new enemy types. There are like these little grey bug dudes. They are very annoying, especially when they attack, because they knock you back quite a bit. You can, yeah, be very startling. The objective of this first fight is to kill a certain amount of enemies before the door will open. There's also these really large enemies that we now have. I don't know what they're called, but they're very, very big enemies. sure what their names are. I was almost about to call them a Flintstone. Hate me. Maybe that's something on their yeah, much larger enemy, and they're very dangerous. If they hit you, they take so much of your health. They do this attack where they're like slapping your ears on either side. It's very scary. So you gotta make sure not to get caught by them. They're pretty slow though, but when they do attack, you just gotta get out of the way. Very aggressive. Now we have to take a detour to the right here in the caves because there's a really very important item that we need to collect, which is gonna be for the final boss. So yeah, making sure you have your resources prepared for the next coming events in the run. Very important. It's gonna be a jewel necklace, which, like before, when you have Berserk active, you don't lose health. And that's gonna be really important because the final boss is very aggressive and stagger you a lot. And we don't want that happening, we just want to make sure that we can output the damage on her to defeat her as fast as possible. Now we have another attack gem there. The red gems give you attack power. So pick that one up. So we have a good resource. Now for the final missions, it's kind of revisiting some of the bosses that were versed previously in the game. Like right now we're going to be seeing the first boss of the game. Again. So we're going to use a power gem. We're going to go up to him. He's going to run. I can always tell because he does this little walk. Belly move. Oh, I'm gonna drop the next item too. Definitely that. A lot of policemen here. Their guns are not very nice. Also, platforming in these final levels is really rough because you can get caught on walls and stuff like that, which hinders your movement going forward. So yeah, the final levels are a little bit poorly designed, but it's still fun. It's just moving around a bit rough. Also, like, yeah, some of the enemies can be really aggressive, really hard to deal with. Especially in these really small rooms with a lot of enemies, it's going to be very hard to manage them, especially when you can't look under them. I'm going to collect the reds because we want Berserk mode. We definitely want Berserk mode for the final boss. I need to go into this room as well because there's a big... Oh, it's a requirement to get to the final boss of this state. The boss of this state. Oh, can we get in? That's not very nice. Now we have Berserk mode. I'm going to be using this. Just slice all these enemies. There's going to be Mudmen, which are going to be required enemies to defeat. So I'm going to be really careful with my health. For some reason, these, like, the zombies with the crowbars, they're very strong. They can really get you and they're very close. Something about the crowbar just hits me. Oh, there was a hole. Now, the boss of this mission is rather goofy. Not much of a boss, but it is the boss. So the boss of this mission is a big zombie baby. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and reach it from here. I double jump and then do downwards attacks and you can really get rid of his health. He's a big, just a big baby with like a tail. I'm not quite sure what they were thinking with the design, but it is very spooky. A lot of babies in spooky games. Save. Now we're on. I want to save. Now we're on the stage 6, which is the sad revenge. This is the final stage. Cool. And the music is a bit different on this stage. To kind of say, this is the end, this is it. But first, we have this fight. So we have to build up rage for the Mudmen. The enemies which you have to build up rage to be able to defeat them. And this room is notorious for having lag and notorious for being really hard. Because there's a lot of enemies trying to get you, and it takes a lot of organizing them to get them. Yeah, it's very easy to just get stuck. Yeah, especially if the little bug dudes on the floor harass you, you can lose so much health. It's interesting. Be very careful, you don't want to get swamped by enemies, but at the same time I still want to build up meter, so I have to keep moving around just in case. There are some reds over there that I really like. I want to keep making sure that my blood on my sword is getting really high. That's also another thing, because you hit a lot of enemies, the blood on your sword gets really filled up very fast. Enemies getting away, trying to retrieve the little red orbs. So sometimes it's actually really good just to push them out of the way. Get this bug. And you don't want to be hitting the Mudmen because you don't build up meter hitting them. Even though it's a requirement to have rage active, like they won't give you meter for it. So you gotta make sure you hit all the other enemies in the area. They chase after you, so they always want to get in your face. Yeah, also, even if I'm jumping, the bugs can hit me, which is not very nice. They're hurt bugs and they hit bugs. It's really... okay, we now have it, so what I'm going to do is this. Yep. I'm pretty sure I don't. Oh no, I do have one. I do have one. I think I have full. Yeah, I have full life. So I don't have to collect that one. My blood on my sword is very high since doing that fight, so I gotta be really careful. I'm gonna make sure that I clean it before doing this boss fight. So this is the twins. We're going to be doing the twins again. Except I'm not going to have a duel. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that. Okay, we got him. We just have her. The thing with her is that she has, when she's winding up her... that's not the threat I wanted to do. When she winds up her attack, she has an active hitbox around her body, so you can't like get close to her. You kind of can on medium quest because you have a lot more range of the sword. Because you have a lot more reach, I should say, because that's and one of the... oh, I didn't actually have that. It is one of the level up stats is how far your sword can reach. And we have that fully upgraded, but I still was a bit too close. Now we have the fencer. I'm a little bit scared of this fight, just because my health is low and he can be super super aggressive. He also teleports, which we didn't really get to see last time. Our health is low, but I think we should be able to speed to the boss, and we should be okay. Okay, so the final boss is coming up, and time will be after the final boss, like when the cutscene happens after the final boss is defeated, so get ready on time for...
That's me, still chilling.
Okay, okay. Cool. Now, because we have Berserk active, this boss fight is gonna be pretty laggy. That's just kind of what happens. So this is our sister, who's been wanting revenge. She also has a form of Berserk mode as well, which is really dangerous. But we use a power gem, a jewel, so that we can continuously not get hit. And time will be when this transitions, which is when this lag ends now. Okay. There you go. And that's
It stopped it a bit early, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. And
I heard time and I had like a knee-jerk reaction. I was like, time! Oh!
yeah, that's the end of the run. They didn't have any music or voice acting for this cutscene. It's just kind of text. There's like no sound. It's very anticlimactic, but anyway. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this run. This was New Game Plus Hard, which I think is a lot more accessible for new runners to get into. New Game is a little bit harder because of item management, but it's all really fun. This game's fun if you're looking for a 40-minute hack and slash game to get into. This game has funky music and is fun. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
Of course, could you please shout yourself out too? Where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm Gala streaming. I'm on Twitch and Twitter, YouTube. Yeah, I speedrun action games, hack and slash games. Right now, I've been focusing on PlayStation 2 games like this, and currently, I've been focusing on God of War very hard, glitchless. That's what I've been trying to get better at. And yeah, thanks for having me. And hope you enjoy the rest of it.
Of course. Unfortunately, there's not too much left in the rest of the marathon. It's rough out here. We got one more run for you all lovely people at home. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to check out myself, and I'm going to toss it over to the Resident Evil 6 runners. We will be right back for the last run of the marathon, so stay tuned, get those donations in, and let's try and hit $500. I know y'all can do it. Make some magic happen. Alright, on we go!